So this is my presentation on fracking, a environmental catastrophe, um, for an environmental science course. Um, Imagine a safe energy source that will not hurt the environment and the people around it. This is how fracking is being portrayed, and the reality is much more sinister. The rabbit hole is quite deep and ranges from propaganda being put out by the fracking companies to payoffs in the government to keep the list of chemicals used in the fracking process a secret. Often fracking is done on or around farmland with horrendous consequences. The farmer sees a safe, non-invasive way to make money, but that is not the case. There's a constant flow of trucks and chemical spills to contend with, not to mention the smell. It doesn't help that whenever there are problems, many, most of the time, these are settled out of court. What is fracking? Hydraulic fracturing is a non-traditional form of drilling for oil and natural gas. It is seen as a way for the United States to gain energy independence. Although the concept has been around since the 40s, it did not become economically viable until the late 70s. Underneath the aquifers there lies shale stone, which is porous and rich with natural gas and oil. The gas companies come in and drill down below the aquifer, and then they turn the drill bit sideways to extract pockets of oil and natural gas. An interesting side note to this is that the drilling method was originally used for fixing teeth, but later was realized for its potential in the oil and gas industry. After the hole is made, thousands of gallons of water are pumped into the hole, along with the company's mix of fracking fluids. This process floats the oil and natural gas up to the surface. This is all fine and good, except that oftentimes it does not go smoothly. In addition to that, there are problems of what to do with the wastewater, because as of right now, there's no way to treat it so that it can become usable again. Earthquakes are also a big problem connected to fracking. This is because drilling that deep into the earth causes shifts in the shale and leads to seismic activity. None of these issues take into account what this does to the communities themselves when fracking comes in. Many communities are fractured by the fracking industry. It's usually money versus the environmental issue. Many of the people that the companies take advantage of are living above the poverty line, and gas brings hope of a better future. However, many activists come into the areas to try to stop the fracking or convince people with the land not to sign contracts with the oil and gas companies. This leads to problems. So what chemicals are used in fracking? There are 4 stages in the fracking process that begins after the drilling of the L-shaped well bore. These are known in order as the acid stage, the pad stage, the prop stage, and the clearing stage. During the acid stage, thousands of gallons of water are pumped into the hole with the added element of hydrochloric acid. The second stage, or pad stage, is where the fracking fluids are injected. It is not really known what chemicals are used in this stage, as they are considered company secrets. This can lead to all sorts of problems, as there is no way to test for what is in the water. The third stage, or prop stage, is where proper substances are added to the hole in order to keep it open. Again, these chemicals are not known. Finally, the fourth stage, or clearing stage, is when thousands of gallons of water are used to flush out the hole. As can be imagined, there are all sorts of problems when using industrial chemicals in the process, and problems are only made worse by not knowing what they are. The people in areas where fracking is being done report they have headaches, skin rashes, sore throats, and other ailments. These problems are hard to treat when they do not know what chemicals are being used. It would seem like this would be an easy problem to stop, except that fracking companies have created a PR campaign to portray fracking as a good thing that will give the United States energy independence. From TV spots to internet sites, there is no avenue the companies won't use. And to make matters worse, the money they offer the people who own the land really isn't enough after the damage has been done. A good example of this is the current run of TV spots that BP is promoting cleanliness, natural gas. There was also the article from the New American entitled Fracking Mythbusters, which purports to dispel the myths surrounding fracking. One of the main points that it expounds on is the flaming water faucet in Weld County, Colorado. It is the all-too-famous scene from the documentary Gasland, where the resident turns on their water and then lights it on fire. The magazine claimed that Markham did it to himself when he drilled for his well. However, the methane that caused the ignition is a natural byproduct of fracking. Also, a quick internet search of the New American reveals that they are a publication of the John Birch Society, a right-wing extremist organization. Also, a quick search of the internet under the search fracking is good reveals a host of propaganda thrown out to the masses by the oil and gas industry. One of the more interesting facts is that they pay more in income taxes and fees. One of the big pushes to keep fracking going is the idea that it will lead to energy independence. It does, but at what cost? Why couldn't the United States be more like China and move towards renewable energy? They too are becoming more energy independent but are going down a greener path. The United States has chosen a path that leads to air and water pollution. Part of the problem with fracking lies in the way that legislation works around it. To begin with, fracking is exempt from the Safe Drinking Water Act, and that causes a host of problems. This act is what the EPA uses to regulate what chemicals are injected into the ground. By not including it in the Safe Drinking Water Act, the fracking companies are able to use whatever chemicals they want in the process. Oftentimes, seals on the hole will break, leading to contamination of groundwater. Another issue is that the storage tanks for the flowback water have been known to break, leading to the poisoning of land and groundwater. The biggest problem is the smell from fracking. When the chemical stew that is used to pump the gas out of the ground sits in the sun, it has a tendency to fester. This causes a smell to permeate the area around the storage tank site. This chemical smell has been known to lead to nausea, headache, and rashes. It's almost as if the people in the area are having major allergic reactions to the chemical. To make matters worse, they do not know what chemicals are being used, so there is no way to test for contamination. This leads to doctors not knowing how to treat patients and the people being told that the best option for them is to move away from the site. This can lead to many problems as farmers have a lot of money and time invested in the area and can't just pick up and move. What can we do about this? The biggest thing that can help stop this is educating the public about what is happening. Unfortunately, the people who are trying to do something about this are going up against the propaganda machine that is the oil and gas industry. It would also be beneficial to elect more environmentally conscious members of government to power. Many of the members of government are taking money from the oil and gas industry. A search of the internet revealed that there was $15.6 million given to Congress so far in 2016. Most of this money is going to Republican Party members to help get them reelected. It appears to be a bipartisan problem, however, with Democrats also taking money from them. However, not nearly as much. As stated before, the best option here is to find candidates who are cleaning up oil and gas money or to stop voting for those who are taking dirty money. This may be easier said than done, as it would appear most everyone in Congress has taken money from the oil and gas industry. It should be noted that while this is a problem, renewables will not get the funding that they deserve. In conclusion, fracking is more dangerous than the payoff of energy independence in more ways than one. There are side effects on humans and the pollution of air and water. In order to stop it, however, we need a green revolution. There needs to be a bigger focus on renewable energy. In order to do this, we need members of our government who are not taking money from the oil and gas industry. There is hope, though, through the United States is making baby steps towards using more renewable energy in the power grid. However, it would seem that this is too little too late with the way climate change is accelerating. Maybe in the next election, the American public will elect politicians who are not tied to the oil and gas industry, as it seems to be the only hope at stopping this. Without it, the United States is doomed to poison all of its air and water.